Good morning, the students of class 6. Today I am going to discuss your social science history and chapter 2, and the name of the chapter is from hunting gathering to growing food. In previous class, in his previous history class, I have discussed 3 subunits from this chapter. Now today we are going to discuss the rest of the another 3 subunit from this chapter 2. So let us begin our class. That the first subunit that I am going to discuss, that is rock paintings and what they tell us. Rock paintings. So this, from this word you can easily understand that in ancient period, when early humans first arrived in the Indian subcontinent, what happened then? They lived on the caves, and when they started living inside the caves, they depicted their lives, their hunting scenes, their rituals, everything on the wall of those caves. And most of these paintings were drawn with vibrant color, mostly natural colors. Okay. They collected these colors from some stones and herbs. And in India, a site where this type of paintings were discovered, that is Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh or MP. In today's Madhya Pradesh or MP, in Bhimbetka, a cave was discovered that is full of such type of paintings. Okay. So this is what the rock paintings tell us. I think you have understood about the rock paintings made by the earliest people in different parts of Indian subcontinent. In different parts of the world also these type of paintings were discovered, and the animals drawn on those pictures extinct in today's life. Okay. But from those paintings we know about the animals lived at the time, present at that time, their, the people's lifestyle, their hunting scenes and their rituals. Next we are going to discuss the another subunit, it is the sites. Sites. Okay. Okay, you no need to write. If you have copy in front of you, you can point out the main, you can write the main points, not in detail, but the main points. In the previous class also I have discussed in detail about those and also gave you some point to you. Now what is sites? The sites are some places where the remains of things such as the tools, pot, pans, weapons were found, and these were used by the people who lived there, and they left all those things. And these are the artifacts left behind the people lived on those sites, on those areas, and those areas from where this type of artifacts were discovered by the archaeologists, these are called sites. And in these sites the artifacts were discovered in different manner. Okay. And these may be found on the surface of earth. Number 2, under the underground. Okay. And number 3, underwater. Okay. So, in this three way the artifacts were found in the sites. Okay. And in previous class I have already mentioned in the different Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic sites discovered, from where the archaeologists and historians discovered the artifacts, tools, bones of those people. Now, Mriganko, do you understand these things? Now, we are going to discuss the finding out about the fire. So, it is very necessary you know that how fire was discovered at this time, at that time. Okay, finding out about fire. So, in Andhra Pradesh, today's Andhra Pradesh in India, look at the map present on your book. Okay, on this map, it is present on your book in page number 13, that the presence of Kurnool caves. Kurnool caves. That Kurnool caves are the sites from where the archaeologists have found the ashes, the remains of ashes, the evidence of ashes, and ashes means the presence of fire, because without fire the ashes cannot be produced. So, that is why the archaeologists they assumed that these people they use fire. And what are the necessity of fire at that time? The archaeologists they thought that fire could have been used for cooking, number 2 for light, and number 3 it is for scare away animals. Wild animals. Because they mostly lived in the caves, inside the caves, and in night there was a danger for wild animals. So, that is why they set up fire outside, they set fire outside the caves to protect themselves from the wild attack of the wild animals, as well as there was no electricity. So, that is why they use the fire for light inside their caves. They set fire inside the caves, okay, with some piece of woods for light, as well as they use the fire for cooking. Today also we use fire for cooking. Okay, so, these are the uses of fire at that time. Okay. So, in this way the earliest people they know the use of fire. Okay. Now, next we see we will see how the earliest people turned into the peasants or farmers and herders. At first they are hunter gatherers, and how hunting gathering turned into the herding and agriculture. So, let us see. So, and the name of the subunit is changing environment. So, they living their life in a same manner up to 12,000 years ago, but suddenly what happened? Suddenly some changes occurred in their life, because at that time the most of the subcontinent covered with thick layer of ice, because at that time ice age was there. But 12,000 years ago there was a shift in the climate, and the climate of the world became warmer, and in many areas what happened, those ices started melting. Those glaciers present in the top of the mountains and valleys, they started melting, and from that water, ice melted water flown and turned into rivers. Those rivers flown over the valleys and plains and plateaus, and what happened, in the both the side of the rivers grasslands emerged, because those rivers deposited fertile alluvial soil in the both the side of the river, and this very helpful for the plants. Then grasslands emerged in the both the side of the rivers, and when the grassland emerged, the quantity of the animals, the herbivorous animals such as deers, antelope, cattle, sheep, goat increased drastically. Then what happened? Those people who followed those wild animals, they also started following them. They also found a great number of animals for hunting, and when they started following those animals, day by day they learned about the lifestyle of those animals, the lifestyle, their breeding season, their food habits of those animals, and all these things led them to herding. Then one day they thought, if we tame those animals in our locality, near our settlement, then it no need to go for hunting or in search of food or in search of animals, because animals are where then animals will present near our settlement, and we can use them whenever we need them, and we can bring milk, and they can bring and we can bring milk from them, we can consume meat. In this way they started herding, and in this way these things led them for herding animals. Another important thing at that time happened, when at the time several grains like wheat, barley as well as the rice also grown on those grasslands. These plants also looks like grasses, long grasses. So, these are also grown on the grasslands. So, and men, women and children of those community, the earliest people, they roaming on those grasslands, and they carefully collected the grains for their food. Now, day by day they observed when these crops have grown. We have read already in first chapter, first subunit, that how did they move one place to another season by season in search of foods, roots and grains. So, in this way they follow those yes, I will teach you. In this way they found the grains, and they thought, if we plant those grasses, if plant those grains in our locality, then what happened? This may have led them to think about growing plants on their own. They think, if we grow them in our locality and in their own, so then no need to move place to place. We can found our food, we can store them, and we can use them whenever we need. In this way these things led them to agriculture, and we will read next subunit how agriculture developed in the Indian subcontinent in different parts. Like in the bank of Narmada river, in the Garo hills, you have already read agriculture flourished. So, that is all about the changing environment led them to herding and agriculture. Now we will discuss another important thing, that is names and dates. Srijita, watch carefully, the names and dates, very important. That in previous subunits and in the map also, you have noticed different terminologies and the name of the ages, such as Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic and Stone Age, Iron Age, etc. Now we discuss about the age division in the ancient history. That ancient history is mainly divided into many parts, Stone Age, and mainly three parts: Stone Age, Copper Age and Iron Age. And also within the Copper Age, another age, that is Bronze Age. But this is not our topic. We discuss in this chapter, chapter number 2, about the Stone Age, the peoples, the life of the people of Stone Age. And Stone Age divided into three parts. Stone Age divided into three parts. Number 1, Paleolithic. Number 2, Mesolithic. And number 3, Neolithic. Number 3, Neolithic. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of Paleolithic? The Paleolithic is divided into, the Paleolithic word came from the two Greek words paleo and lithos. Paleo means old and lithos means stone. So, Paleolithic means old stone age, and the time period of old stone age is from 2 million years ago, 2 million years ago up to the 12,000 years ago. Okay. Next one, it is Mesolithic. Okay, and Paleolithic site, example Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka is an example of Paleolithic site. Next one, Mesolithic. Mesolithic also, meso means middle and lithos means stone. So, Mesolithic means middle stone age, and the time period is from 12,000 years ago up to 10,000 years ago. Okay. And all the tools, artifacts found at the time, these are called megalith. Tools, artifacts found in the time, that is called megalith. And also some tiny stone tools, generally tiny, and are they probably stuck with the handles of wood or bone. Okay. The weapons and tools with an handle made up with bone and wood, and they are more sharper than the stone tools discovered in Paleolithic ages. These are called microlith. Microlith. Okay. Now we have understand, I think, about the microlith and megalith. These are stone tools, tiny stone tools, microlith, and the simple stone tools, they are megalith. Now, Neolithic. What is the meaning of Neolithic? Neolith means new and lithos means stone. So, Neolithic means new stone age, and the time period is again from 10,000 years ago up to 10,000 up to 8,000 years ago. 10,000, it is from 10,000 years ago up to 8,000 years ago. So, this is the Neolithic age, and the archaeologists also divided the Paleolithic age into three parts, because it is a huge time period. Look at 2 million years ago up to 12,000, and 99% human history consists here. Okay. The rest of the part, the Stone Age, Iron Age and Mesolithic, Neolithic, just 1%, and 99% of human development. We have learned all these things. Okay. The movements of our muscles, all the activity, running, jumping, okay, eating food, hunting, all these things, all the activities we have learned mostly in Paleolithic ages. And in Paleolithic also divided into 3 ages, that is Upper Paleolithic, okay, Middle Paleolithic and Lower Paleolithic. Okay. So, these are the 3 divisions of Paleolithic age. I hope you have understood these subunits. If you have any question, then you can ask me from these subunits. Megalithic sites, okay. Megalith also stone tools, okay. Some stone tools, these are called megalith. In chapter number, in the map you have found some megalithic sites in page number 13, okay. And what is the 3 Paleolithic? Upper Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Lower Paleolithic. Paleolithic age is divided into 3 periods. Whose sound? And another thing, the about megalith you will read in chapter number 5. Okay. Megalith means some big stone pillars that was surrounded by the burial site mostly, and some artifacts also. These are called megalith. When they surrounded some with some burials, big stone tools surrounded around some burials. These are megalith. You will read in chapter number 5 about megalith. It is microlith. Microlith are small tiny tools that is present, that was discovered in Mesolithic pages. Yes sir, very clear, but if it is the difference between mega tool, micro tool and mega tool. Sanchita, what is micro tool and mega tool? Nothing is there called micro tools and mega tools. Only microlith, okay, the small tiny tools discovered at the time in Mesolithic period, attached with some handles, some of them, these are called microlith. And megalith, it is different thing, you will read in chapter number 5 what is megalith, okay. These are big stone boulders or some small stones, they are surrounded by the burial sites, okay. Okay, no problem Sanchita. Okay, Srija, do you understand? Okay, that's all from today's class. Next class we will going to discuss from another subunit from geography, chapter number 2. Thank you for watching. Bye.